Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Wolf Motorsports broadcast on this exciting, enthralling penultimate race of the 2016 World Motorsport Championship season, where we still have three teams in it. Steinman leading the pack, but only just ahead of Panther and Rossini, and with plenty of stories in the midfield. But there's also the fight at the top. Three teams, three drivers from three teams, with Chapman and Wexler and Sharp all still vying for it, as well as plenty to play for in the midfield. I'm joined by Johan. What are you looking out for in the midfield today here in Rio?
Hello, everybody. It is so great to be here in the capital of Brazil once again, towards the end of the season, as we always are, for another fantastic race here at the Interlagos track. It's going to be so much fun. What I'm most looking forward to is to seeing who will be able to get the advantage later on in the race, because with the regulations being how they are, with all the engines being so close, believe me, within 15 horsepower of each other, and the active suspension system that is the spec active suspension system that is in place, ensuring that every team is so close to each other in terms of their drivability and their raceability. So it all comes down to the skill of the driver, especially with this being, I believe, our 7th year in these regulations. So it is going to be a fascinating battle down there, especially for those who are vying for extra points, such as Rizzato, Velan, Thornton, those kinds of people. But I'm also really excited for the championship fight. Can Sharp pull off a miracle comeback with a 33-point deficit? Vexler's been coming on strong lately. Could he finally give Chapman a bit of pressure? And could Rossini in their first title in 8 years? I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Well, with that all said and out the way, let's head down to the grid for this penultimate race with much excitement in the air. And what do you know? 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 on the front row. It's Harry Chapman and Dieter Wexler. They were tied at the previous race, but Chapman took the advantage down under in Australia.
And on the second row, it is another championship contender in Zoe Sharp. She had a great start to the season, but was unfortunately beset with multiple mechanical issues and some bad races with mistakes. But she's returned to form now, keeps herself in the fight, and on her outside is Nina Holtz, who has been consistent, but that's probably the only good thing we can say about her. She has been an insane disappointment after pushing Chapman to the championship over the last 2 years, and there might be some serious questions asked about her long-term viability at the Steinman team. She has gotten a bit better in the last few races, but being 5th in the standings with only 1 podium, I don't think is very good for her. Still, 4th place is a good qualifying spot.
As is 5th and 6th for Surikov and Saarinen. Surikov having a pass season. He's done what he's been asked of for the most part. As for Nilo Saarinen, the less said about his car, the better, with 7 DNFs, all mechanical in 14 races, and yet he's still 8th, and Rossini are still somehow in the fight, and he lines up on P6.
And then, in the 4th row, we've got, perhaps, I mean, if Holtz has been a disappointment, then I have no idea what Ana Oliveira's season has been. This is her final season in the World Motorsport Championship. She is not interested in the Project Alpha regulations that will take effect in 2017, and I don't blame Windsor for putting more pressure on her seat, because 14th in the standings with only 14 points and 5 points finishes compared to her teammate. It's been a dismal end to her storied career. But hopefully she can get some points for the home crowd today. And then to her outside, it is the Chariot Lotus Spaniard of Iker Vidal, hoping to again give us an entertaining yet competitive performance, courtesy of their new strategy team, which has been much publicized this year.
And on row 5, we have 2 drivers who have both been working miracles this season. We have P9, Samuel Blanc in the Lola Thornton Cosworth, who's been dragging that car kicking and screaming into safety. And then we have Wolfgang Schmidt, who won that incredible race in America. Can he replicate his form today?
And we have on row 6 the strategic front row, as it is called. Usually, perhaps the shock of the session is, in fact, Windsor driver Aki Lipponen, who did not have the best of times in the first sector of his lap. However, with how the tires are and how they perform later on in the run, and we know that the Windsor car is specifically set up for long run pace, perhaps he just chose not to push too hard in the final sector, so he allowed himself more strategic freedom compared to the strictness of qualifying with racing on your qualifying tire in the top 10. So Lipponen lines up in 11th, and alongside him is someone who is thrilled to be that high up. It is Sinang Jono Hamrun with 0 points, starts in 12th. He has finished, he has been very consistent because he has finished every single race this season, a feat that I don't think anyone else can lay claim to. Can he keep that perfect streak going all the way to Dubai?
Well, two drivers who will count themselves lucky to make it to Dubai, both having pretty underwhelming seasons. It's Moreno in the second Lola and Siri Lundqvist in the last place Velan. Puts it P14, needs a lot more than that to keep them afloat.
And on the 8th row, we've got perhaps one of the surprise heroes of the midfield from last weekend. It is Kofi Koro. He has a permanent seat on the relatively newly established Cortosi Corsa. There's been a lot of injury concerns with their overweight Cortosi car. However, both drivers have recovered to full strength, and Koro managed to finish 10th last time. Can he repeat that miracle again here in Rio? And starting in 15th is going to be difficult, but he'll try his best. Then outside, it is another really disappointing qualifying for the lead Kitano driver, Javier Vasquez. This is his 17th full-time season, and we've just heard, in spite of how bad the results have been and the rumors surrounding him, that coming into the press conference for this Grand Prix, Javier Vasquez is committed to the Project Alpha regulations in 2017. He wants to see through Kitano's improvement from back markers to the front with his 3 podiums this season. So 16th is not going to be a great run. It's not a great qualifying for him, but we know he can recover from that far down.
Two drivers here who are at the back of Q2. Two drivers who are also committed to their projects. It's the shot podiumer at Ardennes of Jeremy Woodford, lining up an average P17 alongside another Brazilian driver, although this one unlikely to win the fans over. It's Esteban Ribeiro in the Velan in P18.
And on the 10th row, we've got the other Cortosi driver who has kind of just been racking up the mileage for the upcoming regulations. Regardless of what team he may be on, he is in a contract year. So as long as he can be consistent, it's what matters. Pratchop Atia, lining 19th. Not great for him to be out-qualified by his teammate, but anything could happen in the race. And then to his outside in 20th is perhaps the brightest rookie on the field, the 18-year-old Rick de Graaf. He has had some pretty good results so far with, to my knowledge, 8 points finishes out of the 14. Finds himself 12th in the standings. If he can get another points finish from this far down, that'll make other top teams very interested in his services.
Two drivers unlikely to have anyone interested in their services. It's Ricky Casserly in the second Asia, who he just hasn't had anything this season and is P25. I believe that's the lowest of the full-time drivers, and yet somehow he starts ahead of the disappointment of Q1, arguably, Maria Gonzalez, dragging that Van Dort probably 10 positions lower than it should be, all the way to P22.
All right, and at the back row of the grid, our retiring driver in her 18th and final season, Jenny North. She's been doing solidly so far. She did solidly to start the season, but with Kitano diverting resources to their 2017 car and North not having too big of a role in that, we'll see who is most interested in that second seat later. But for now, Jenny North is winding down her career, but in a terrible place to start that in 23rd. We'll see what she can do from that far down. And then at the very last place, it is Lucia Flores of Rizzata Corsa. She has also had a miserable season, was beset with an injury after Beijing, did finish every race after that, but just hasn't had any points compared to De Graaf, who has scored 24. And it's not been good for her. I hope maybe she could find a seat in some other discipline, but WMC doesn't seem to be for her. And that will be your full grid, and it is a mixed up and yet exciting grid. I cannot wait to see what will happen as we go on the rundown of turn 1. It's a bit of a short one, it will catch you out. But Chapman, Vexler, and Sharp, top 3 in the championship, top 3 in this qualifying as we go down to the grid for 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Pause! Lights out and away we go. Chapman gets away very well, but so does Dieter Vexler, who makes a big run to the inside, and Zoe Sharp's got to run at him as well. And Chapman loses 2 places on the opening lap. Is a great start towards the middle for Igor Vidal and Wolfgang Schmidt. Oh, problem at the back. It's Aki Lippinen. The Windsor Porsche driver, Aki Lippinen, goes off the road on the 3rd turn. And he was squeezed, had no room anywhere, which is such a shame, but he is going to lose a lot of time with that, and that is good news for all the other people in the midfield. Cyril Lundqvist, Alejandro Moreno, Esteban Ribeiro, Rick de Graaf, all moving up positions further along. Lucia Flores goes from last to 20th after everything that we just saw there, but great start for Vexler as he's going to maintain the advantage over Zoe Sharp, and Woodford trying to find a move. Can't quite do it, and that is going to be Javier Vazquez. Again, big recovery drive is on for him at the moment. 4 positions already knocked out, but it's going to be difficult to see if he can get more points from there. But after 1 lap, it is Dieter Vexler, Zoe Sharp, Harry Chapman, Nikolai Surikov, and Nina Holtz, your top 5.
There's already a massive gap there shown with the tyres. Lundqvist 1 second to Blanc, but I think Blanc made a mistake coming out of turn 3. Woodford delaying Kurz gets 15th. Top 3 still keeping the slipstream, as is the second runners, Surikov, Holtz, and Saarinen, all within a second.
Oh man, going to be a big overtake there from Rick de Graaf, couldn't do it.
But Oliveira does do it in sector 3. Vidal looks to chase back.
That is Zoe Sharp, who just set the fastest lap. She might be looking to put the pressure on Dieter Vexler here for the race lead. And for her, I think it's got to be the race win, assuming nothing else truly ridiculous happens. It's all down to the race victory right now. And if Zoe Sharp can get the win with a certain good combination of points, she is in it for Dubai. And she's doing the best that she can to get the lead, but Vexler holds her off so far.
Meanwhile, Chapman is struggling to keep up here. He had an okay start, but just lost it through the first chicane here as we see Sammy Blanc trying something on Schmidt. There's Saarinen ahead past Holtz, but Holtz is going to repass.
It's pass and repass, as they say. I mean, Saarinen, we know that his car is a bit of a roulette board this season. I hope it lands on the green side instead of the red side today. But even if it does land on the red side, it's not looking too good for him. But he does get the pass on Holtz again in 5th. I don't think Holtz will be able to repass that, as Javier Vazquez makes another overtake down in 15th place. That's now 5 positions on his recovery drive.
Well, he'll need to break these ultra soft runners who are slowly pulling away as we see this little battle towards the back end of the points. Oliveira holding Vidal, holding Schmidt, holding Blanc, who's free from Lundqvist.
And I was going to say, a lot of the people towards the back have slower but more durable tires. Aki Lippinen was supposed to be the one who would benefit the most of those people. Unfortunately, with that big mistake where he was squeezed and ran wide on the first turn, he's not going to feel the benefit of that in the slightest, as a big strategic change there. Nilo Saarinen at the pits at the end of lap 5. I hope it's not for mechanical problems, but he's making calling an audible.
They are calling for some early ultras. They're both on ultras.
Ultra softs for Nilo Saarinen and Samuel Blanc. Well, actually, no. It's middle compound tires for Samuel Blanc. That might be actually better, especially with how the ultras are meant to be really fast but really brittle. These tires, they grain really easily if you attack on them. So it all comes down to power deployment. It all comes down to which corners you deploy the most power in. It's a big game of chess here, as the front three are pulling well clear of Nikolai Surikov. Is Sharp looking at a move? Not quite.
Well, could that also be pitting early for chances of rain later? As meanwhile, the front three, they won't care. They're just in a 180 mile an hour dogfight. It's hard to play chess at 180 miles an hour, Johan.
I was gonna say it doesn't look much like great pass by Schmidt through the long right-hander there on Iker Vidal. Iker Vidal's doing the best that he can to close that gap, but I just don't think there's anything left in it. As we see another early pitter, it is Nina Holtz who comes into the pits, wants to try and get the same undercut that Saarinen is eyeing. As we see with the Steinman pit garage, a slightly slower stop, but it's going to be Saarinen.
There's Saarinen,
and just not cover him off. Does not cover him off. That's unfortunate, but it's going to be good that Saarinen got ahead. Sorry?
Saarinen using battery instead of Holtz. Interesting. Got
Wants
about
to warm the
half
tires
a
up
second
first, probably.
Dahl is fighting Schmidt for what is currently P6. Oh, what a dive bomb.
Good overtake there. And meanwhile, as we see, Harry Chapman briefly lost the overtake range. Sharp's in now. We're seeing some interesting strategies here, as now the longer you go, the harder it gets on those original tires, which will be very heavily graining by this point. Vexler and Chapman taking a big risk, and Sharp is going to be able to cover off Saarinen and Holtz with that run, with that early pit stop.
Easily.
Will she be able to undercut Vexler and Chapman?
Well, if you're Vexler and Chapman, I would be coming in this lap. Same with Surikov, if you believe this rain is going to strike.
We'll have to take a look at the forecast, but it's hard to see if there's any. Indeed, yes, we see that rain is coming. There's some relatively high winds. It's not really easy to see from our broadcast booth, but there is rain. We are told roughly
None of them come in. None of them.
About maybe 15-20 minutes away. So we'll see what they have to do.
This is getting peculiar to split the strategy so aggressively. You have to be confident at this phase of the season, and none of them look confident except for Sharp, who just passed 2 cars.
Well, it's relatively easy to pass them this far down when the main thing is tire compound difference. Going to make the move on Gonzalez this time. Castley should be next. As we see, Castley is going to use a little bit of curse to stop Sharp from doing it. That's the risk of pitting this early, is traffic. You're going to hit traffic and you're going to lose lap time, which is, I think, the problem that Vexler and Chapman are trying to risk.
Vexler!
Oh no!
Vexler is gone! Incredible! Oh no! This is the most dramatic of circumstances, as Wexler is pulled up after turn 4 and he is gone out of it. That not only eliminates Wexler from the title, unless the most dramatic were to happen to Chapman, but it eliminates Rossini for good, more than likely, from the constructors.
Such a devastating run. He was having a good run of it. He'll have to hope the same exact problem befalls Harry Chapman at this point, but I just don't, knowing how he is, I just don't see how it's going to happen.
Schmidt must have ran wide and dropped a few positions. As Sharp looking to pass Woodford as Ribeiro runs wide on those old Supers.
Lundqvist gets past Vidal. This is right where we see the ultra soft tires are really starting to collapse at this point. If you're gonna if you're going to run them to this rain crossover point, you're going to have to be very confident that it works. Just as Ginger said earlier, as Chapman and Surikov seem very confident of that.
Who isn't confident is Iker Vidal, who just locked up, and Vasquez is now charging his way, trying to go around the outside through turns 4 and 5.
I can't see how this is going to work for them. It's a brave call. I just don't think it's going to give them points, as Zoe Sharp is going to clear Rick DeGroff, the junior team of Panther Racing, as Rick DeGroff tried to fight it for a second. Couldn't do it though. And Chapman's in.
Here comes Zoe Sharp. Double overtake through the middle. It's Chapman finally in.
But he lost he lost a miserably bad amount of time. He's going to be dead last after everything we've just seen. Oh no!
Well, is this the door opened once again for Zoe Sharp and for Surikov and Panther?
It would be a crazy way for everybody else to win. Meanwhile, that is the Windsor. But the Windsor says trouble. Oh! We've got damage. Aki Lipinen and Siri Lundqvist have both hit each other, and we're hearing Finnish profanities on the radio over Aki Lipinen as Siri Lundqvist appeared to just dive bomb on the inside of her. And that was such an uncalled for move.
Well, the Finns and the Swedes don't like each other, but they've mostly escaped. Lundqvist is.
And Surikov has bailed out as well, but Oliveira's trying really hard to keep this moving.
As Lipinen, who spun on lap 1, leads the race. Lipinen spun on lap 1, and it's going to be penalty.
I mean, I'm amazed that he's been this competitive. We would have expected him with a rain pattern like this to be leading the race at this point. And Lundqvist, there she is in second. I mean, she's going to be blocking Zoe Sharp for the time being. I don't think it's going to happen for much longer, though. And Oliveira's going to have to bail out. I don't think this will be for the ultras at this point. It might be for the wet tires, unless it's too early for that. Nope.
Too early.
Too early, and it's not even ultras. It's middle compound. They can't make them last.
That or they don't want to use them right now. Keep their options open for after the rain. As we see it rolling over the hills, but these drivers just need to keep it going. This Sharp wants to keep it going by taking the lead, but gets bumped to the outside in sector 3. Having a lot of trouble overtaking there.
Well,
this is fourth.
This is the risk of that. Yep, Sharp takes the lead there, or will Lipinen try and fight it back? It's going to be a side-by-side run down the Cita del Lago, and Sharp will hold it for now. But yeah, this is the risk of pitting really early, is you do eventually get the advantage over the people who don't pit in a situation like this, but your tires will become basically cheese compared to the other people who decide to go longer, and that's the problem. And there it is. The rain has arrived, and this is a traffic jam for Chapman down in 12th, who's almost recovered back to the points, but he's going to lose some time here.
He gets bumped, and there comes Lundqvist.
Here comes all the other people. They're putting intermediates on now.
Yes. They've used up their supers, and so Chapman came in, actually.
Yep, Chapman came in for a set of intermediates. Interesting choice for him to wait a little bit earlier. Sharp is going to go a little bit longer in case there's a mistake.
Still P20 as Vasquez, the marker to Schmidt, has already lost the second and is losing more.
All right, well, let's see if pitting this lap or pitting the following lap is going to be detrimental or beneficial at this point.
Well, it doesn't look like it's been very beneficial so far, as Vidal and Schmidt slowly creeping away, although
all the while
to get some heat in the tires.
All the while, I just want to give a shout out to Alejandro Moreno, who's been really consistent so far. He's fourth in the race after managing to keep himself on the track the whole time. Here come all the front runners. And Sharp is going to exit this with a big advantage. She is going to have the lead over Aki Lipinen by a significant margin. And Chapman cannot make it back to the points in time as the wet transition hits. Zoe Sharp leads over Aki Lipinen in second. That is beautiful news for her championship charm. And if Chapman cannot recover enough points, if he needs to finish in second to guarantee that Sharp does not have a shot at the title. But it's going to be difficult to do that from back here.
Well, Saarinen is ahead, and I don't think anyone else is going to be willing to give up position easily, including... Oh, Sharp! And Lipinen leads, and Holtz is second! Incredible, but Chapman is still outside the points, with no one willing to give an inch.
Well, he's going to get the move on Attia here in a second. It's going to be an easy move. Into 10th place he goes. Sharp had that handed on a silver platter, and she's going to completely throw it away. Is going to try and make a move on Zoe Sharp now, but this is great news for Aki Lipinen, who could be trying to get a second win here.
Woodford making a move on De Graaf. De Graaf blocking Chapman, who is still just keeping behind. He has to be patient here. He knows he doesn't have to go 110%. Someone who is, though, is De Graaf, who almost loses position out to Chapman there.
But it's going to be Woodford who's going to be able to make the move, and that is Attia passing Chapman. Chapman is still not out of the clear yet. He needs to really pull clear of these guys, and he isn't really able to do that yet.
Yep. Hamrun is now 7th. It's still points for Asia Road, which is what they need, as Jeremy Woodford looks to defend another attempt from De Graaf. De Graaf is going to get him, though.
Nice overtake there from the flying De Graaf, as Woodford's going to fight it back.
It's cursed out. Sharp is not able to push this half a second off on Holt, but Lipinen, a reminder, spun on lap 1, is leading legitimately.
He's leading legitimately, yeah. It was the right call to not push too hard in qualifying, and it's working well for him so far, as there's a little bit of curves by De Graaf to try and catch back up to Woodford. It's not going to work, though. He burned it in the wrong place.
There we go. Chapman up to 9th. Is this the start of something special? Or is this the start of something special for Vasquez? Looking to make a move on Alejandro Moreno. Pointless so far.
Oh, and that was the way to do it. Up into 4th place. Nice move.
And switch back to Saarinen, looking for the better
car. Trouble off the road goes Jeremy Woodford. He's going to give up 10 spots with that one. Oh.
10 spots, sorry, yes. Incredible mistake. It's such a tight midfield, but that is going to allow Chapman to have free rein at Hamrun for P7.
Aki Lipinen still holding the lead. There goes Sharp, is going to get clear of Nina Holtz for 2nd place. And I think Zoe Sharp is going to be really mad at herself. She needs to race down the field to catch back up to Aki Lipinen, as Holtz has deployed her arrow again. I don't think it's going to work for her, as here comes Nilo Saarinen and Vasquez, the old rivals from 2005 once again. Vasquez is putting his car in all the right places to not let any of that happen yet.
Is Sharp putting her car in the right places to block Holtz, give herself a boost, to give herself the gap to chase down Lipman. Chapman still, I want to say, like 18 seconds from Lipman, so the race win isn't going to come easy, but it isn't the race win he needs. All he really needs right now is to pass Saarinen, who's in P4 and just 4 seconds up the road.
What Sharp needs is a race win, and if she can get that, she can keep herself in the fight regardless of what Chapman does. So she is really putting the hammer down now within 4 seconds after being between 6 and 7 seconds for most of that early section of the rain phase. So it's all down to whether or not Sharp can run Lipinen down in this phase of the race, as Lipinen locked up and Kathleen Flores lost quite a few positions. Surkov is going to make it all the way back up to 12th.
Mitt locks up. There's been about 6 lockups this past lap. Maybe a sign that these tyres are starting to kick in and wear out a bit. As De Graaf looking to make a move on the Van Dorn of Gonzalez. As Moreno locks up, that's another one.
I think he's going to do it. To the inside he goes. Brave overtake there.
Chapman is now fighting Vasquez for P5, who's actually having quite an impressive race. I'm sure he'll be happy to be P5, and I'm sure he'll want to hold on to it.
Now Sharp within 3.6. Here comes Chapman. He's going to try and make a move on Vasquez. Vasquez will say absolutely no way. Is there going to be enough in the tank for Chapman to find a move? He's making a big closing speed down the straight. Vasquez covers the inside, and it will not be an overtake for now.
But it will be an overtake on Gonzalez, who locked up at turn 4 and lost his speed on the straight, as well as Cassidy, who lost out into turn 4. Vasquez holding on.
This is an insane defensive move, but it's not going to last for too long as Chapman moves back into 5th. Unless Vasquez uses some curse to get around the outside. Ain't no way he could have pulled that off. That was an insane fight back there, but I think he knows it's too late as Chapman's now back into 5th place. Meanwhile, we're seeing a look at the Rossini garage. They know Saarinen is still in 4th, could be on for his best result in over half the season. They don't really care though. They need to hope and pray that Chapman has a disaster of a weekend himself, because their race result is pretty much dependent on Chapman screwing this race up. Their hopes of a championship, that is.
Well, I mean, for me, there's no one else really to blame but Rossini. They must have had the Belfast shipping company making their car, because it has been unreliable.
Yeah, right? I mean, big lockup
mechanical DNF, and that's about the 8th lockup in the past 2 laps, courtesy of Singajono Hamrun, who puts his Asia outside the points.
And yeah, that is a good point to make, Ginger. I mean, the Rossini car just, it's powerful. It just cannot last the distance, which is such a shame, because the car is clearly capable of great things. We've seen it with Vexler, who had a shot at the championship, and he still does, but his hopes at winning it are no longer in his control. Unfortunately, he no longer controls his destiny. As Attia keeps himself in the points to try and give Cortosi a 3rd point of the season, and is going to keep it moving for now.
And a 3rd point, crucially, over Hamrun and Asia Road.
As things stand, I believe it's going to be Vexler is still, I believe, mathematically eligible, though Vexler is, I believe, still mathematically capable of usurping Chapman at Dubai, and Zoe Sharp is in with a shot at Dubai. As we got problems, Samuel Blanc has been rammed into by Ana Oliveira, and that is a completely broken rear wing on the back of Samuel Blanc's Lola. And the man who's been working miracles in that car is going to have to come into the pits to fix that. Oh man, Oliveira's miserable season continues even at her home. It's been
Moreno fell to 8th. I think he might have run wide at turn 3.
It looks like
attacking him.
But his teammate Alejandro Moreno's been stable and competitive all race long. He is in 8th place, could be on for a really big points finish considering who he is. I mean, we know he's prone to making a lot of mistakes. We've seen them the fair share of them this season. As we got a problem, Hamrun has been crashed into a safety car. A safety car has been deployed for Singajono Hamrun, completely wrecking, and that is Javier Vasquez coming in.
Ooh, I think they're going to come in for the dries here.
Oh man, what do you do at this point? What do you do at this point? It is looking, the forecast says it is dry to the end of the race, but I don't think there is any clear tire that looks good to go to the end here. Maybe 2 ultras is the way to go with how fast they are, but maybe 2 middles is also a good move, because depending on how long the safety car goes, you could have a good shot at big result. A lot of people are taking ultras.
Vasquez leads them out, but obviously the front 5 ahead of the safety car. As there's a mix, there's a big mix here.
Oh man, it's not a clear-cut decision on what they want. Maria Gonzalez is committed to go to the end. It doesn't matter about the middle or the younger. She wants to go to the end of the race.
As is Woodford, who a bit more sense in that one, being P19, and Vidal, Schmidt, Oliveira, Ribeiro, Blanc, North, Lundqvist. It's about 50-50 supers versus ultras, with the front 5 still to come in.
What do the front 5 do, in fact? As there goes Aki Lipponen. He's going to be leading. The top 2 in this race both spun at some point in this race. That's how wild it's been. As Aki Lipponen, Zoe Sharp, Nina Holtz, Saarinen and Chapman come in, what do? It's ultras for Lippanen. What did the others do? Sharp will put the middle compounds on along with Holtz. And Saarinen and Chapman are going to come in. Let's see what they do. Middles for Saarinen. Will Chapman do it as well? It's ultras for Chapman. Okay. We have an interesting move here.
We have a race.
Depending on how long the safety car goes, of course. We do have a race indeed. I mean, it could be that Chapman's got the wrong idea here. I'm not. The problem with Lippanen is we saw that he eased off on his push lap in Q2 to try and give himself more strategic options for this rain period. I don't understand why I would want to put the ultras on now, especially with how long this pit lane is. If you have to pit a second time where Sharp, Holtz, and Saarinen might not need to, this could end up costing you a shot at another win.
Well, we're hearing multiple radio messages saying those on the supers are going directly to the end. I wondered if they might go supers ultras.
Oh, and that's the problem. Lippanen and Chapman have realized it. They're going to go to the end themselves. Oh, that was the big miscommunication on their part. Oh, they're going to lose even more position.
Vidal is being told to switch, but he's on the middle compound as Chapman will come out in 18th.
Oh my god. Oh, this is a big problem. We're just hearing over the team radio we're just hearing the team radio for Harry Chapman over to his race engineer Jeffrey Batchelor. I thought you gave me effing middles. There is some big miscommunications going on at the Stockman pit garage. This is crazy.
What about Lippanen? Because he's also still on the ultras. This is some weird calls to make Chapman and Lippanen fight through the field twice.
Chapman has a shot to close the championship out here. If I were Chapman, I would be playing this safe and you know, minimizing time in the pits, but he's just taken 2 unnecessary trips to the pits as the safety car remains active.
This is going to get to under 20 to go.
I think at this point it is anybody who put the middles on is vindicated because they are certain to go to the end with this now.
Yeah, almost certainly, as long as they don't mess with their tyres. Becoming clearer and clearer that is probably the way to go, and yeah, but I think now is probably, it might be the only time we get, so as we end lap 35, there's still at least 2 laps to go. Let's go to a commercial break.
Welcome back.
After that commercial break, here we go. Sharp, Holtz, and Saarinen on the supers. 18 to go. Sharp will lead us off.
And we go racing again in Rio. Zoe Sharp gets a good getaway, and Javier Vasquez is weaving to try and get life into those tires. And already, Chapman's made the overtake on Coffee Coro. And it's Moreno, a great move by Alejandro Moreno.
As Chapman up to 14th. Lippanen up to 7th. 6th.
This battling is looking absolutely crazy here.
Chapman continuing a charge. He's going to have to charge again though with fresher ultras. He needs to get as far ahead as he can.
This was an interesting decision on his part. It's a big mistake on his part. He needs to really, really put the hammer down every single lap. He's already up to 11th after one of them. Oh, big mistake from Saarinen. He just lost so much time as Lippanen and Vasquez have just cleared him again, but Saarinen's going to make the move back.
He's
trying to find Attia. He couldn't get past Attia that time, but it's going to happen here.
This one, purple sectors for Chapman.
Oh wow, this is good news for Sharp and Holtz. Sharp is going to have the lead no matter what. Chapman's now up to 8th, but he's burning the tires up no matter what he does. And he's gonna be out several laps worth of. He's gonna be down 25 to 30 seconds when he has to hit the pits, assuming he does. So that's going to be really difficult for him to pull off. He's now up to 7th as Lipinen returns to 3rd. Saarinen's going to try and get 3rd back on him, but Vasquez is pressuring Saarinen. There's just so much going on right now.
Yeah, it's all still playful, even for Rossini, as they need to prey on the downfall of Chapman, which could happen.
Chapman could be well out of it by this point with how the tires have played out, and the field is really not pulling away from itself at the moment. Chapman's only made it back to 7th, and that's not enough for him to feel safe over Vexler. He's going to make a big close on Surikov. Could he do it on Vasquez as well? Isn't going to find it here. Probably going to get this lap though.
Well, even if he does get the race lead, he's going to potentially drop back outside of the points and have to fight all this way, and it's going to be such a long way back. Because he can't get 6th off Surikov, who looks to defend not only for Panther but for Pride as well.
Yeah, he needs to. He's done a decent job, but Rick de Graaf is looking even more sensational, and he needs to justify his presence in the seat. As Chapman did not get a good exit off that corner, he went a little bit wide to try and get a bit more temperature into the tires. Rick de Graaf had a thought of passing him for a second. It wasn't going to happen that time, though.
Surikov on the supers. I know they need to be careful about overdriving those, but Vasquez ahead is on slowly dying ultras, so he looks to do something as Moreno locks up and drops a position.
He's down to 10th. Praciovatia moves into 9th. That is Lundqvist. And that is Rick de Graaf coming in early. He wants to get the jump on Chapman. That's going to be interesting at this point.
Toro as well, but de Graaf was keeping toe with Chapman. Is this a sign that he needs to pit already? And look at the gap, 17 to Woodford for de Graaf. With 11
that's not
to
looking
go.
Good for him. It's not looking good at this point.
11 to go at the next lap. That is incredible. This is going to have to be some drive
for Chapman if he wants to recover this. But I gotta say though, what I'm liking is Maria Gonzalez, who's now in 11th, as there goes Vasquez. Chapman's still not in yet. He is losing time to Nikolai Surikov.
Oh, 4 people are in. Flores,
a lot of the middles are in. Castle in. Flores. But I was going to say, I like what I'm seeing from Gonzalez. She has no risks of even managing her tires. She not only can get off,
you say that, and then she locks up.
I mean, commentators curse, just lost 2 positions there. But still, I mean, what I said still stands because... Oh, and a big spin to make for Vidal in 16th.
That's one way to do team orders.
But there's... and Lipinen and Chapman are finally both in. But they've lost a ton of time. And how much time must Chapman recover here? It's 11 laps, 33 seconds is the gap there. It's a big time difference there.
He has it. He might have 2 seconds a lap, but that would put him maybe fighting Lundqvist in 5th, which is just not what he wants at this point.
Not where he hopes to be. It would basically ensure that both Vexler and Sharp are in the championship fight come Dubai. So his hopes of maintaining the championship balance entirely depend on how these last 10 laps go, as Zoe Sharp is pulling clear of Nina Holtz.
If Moreno comes in, his dream is probably over, and it's only the dream of those on the supers who is surviving, including 10-second penalty Siri Lundqvist holding off Oliveira for 5th.
It's been an up and down race for both those people, but they're currently in the points, and it might be a really good drive for them. We'll have to see.
He's setting purples. Let's see how fast he can actually go.
Let's see what the delta is. It's going to be a quick one. This one is a 140.2. That's nowhere.
It's 1.5.
Nowhere near fast enough.
It's 1.5 seconds ahead of the front 3. Maybe
and at
2 seconds if I count.
And at that rate, that's only 14 seconds. He's going to have to be lucky to get points, as Zoe Sharp has locked up. Well, that is not good. Now she needs to manage her tires.
She really does. As we see, pit stops so costly late on in this race. As Lipinen also fighting to get back to position.
Oh my God, they're going to both go around the outside here. They split to the middle. Chapman's going to make the move. Insane overtake
Incredible
there.
move. Jenny North comes in. Her tires couldn't make it.
Jenny North couldn't stretch it that far. As meanwhile, Maria Gonzalez, despite locking up, I like the choice of the harder tire because not only does she not have to worry about managing them, not only does she doesn't have to worry about managing them. She can push them, especially when the middle compounds fall off, which is quite rare to see that comparison between the middle and the hard when they fall off. So that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, it's Oliveira passing for 5th, 10 seconds behind Surikov, but I'm sure this will be a more than suffice farewell for Oliveira if she's able to hold on.
In spite of crashing into a couple of people, I think the Brazilian fans are going to look the other way if she can get. I mean, all the pain is worth it if she can score a top 5, one last top 5 before the end of her career. As Siri Lundqvist is going to bail out along with Sella Blanc. That is bad news. That's bad news for the other guys. If they can't hold on to this, it might be game over.
Well, maybe Chapman is licking his lips in that Steinman as he looks past Ribeiro up the road. As he does that, and he doesn't have the pace, but do they have the tyres at the front? As this is going to become very interesting with Holtz now in DLS.
5 laps to go. The top 4 are all still going. Saarinen could be on for one of his first. I mean, I hate to have to say this, even with only 5 laps to go, but the roulette machine is looking good in the Rossini car. Saarinen holds 3rd over Nikolai Surikov, and Holtz will be on for one of her best results. But if she wants to be a good teammate for Harry Chapman, what could she do? Put the pressure on Zoe Sharp and make the attack, knowing that Sharp has to manage, and Holtz is probably in slightly better shape compared to her. 4 laps to go. They're all still going.
Well, you talk about the roulette wheel. I think they strapped it to Wexler's car for this race as Artia locks up at the back. Unfortunately, a lot of back markers teetering out just don't have the chassis to make this work. As Gonzalez gets past. And Chapman looks like he should get 6th, but I doubt unless there's more pit stops that he gets beyond P6. As his pace is equalizing here with those front 4.
That would give Vexler. I actually think both Vexler and Sharp would be 16 points back of him entering Dubai if this is how it plays out. But he's about to make the move on Schmidt, who bails out. Schmidt cannot make it work. 3 to go. The top 4 all still going.
Ooh, this has got to be nervy. Of course, we don't have active tyre data on any of these drivers, so all we know is that Gonzalez, Woodford and Vidal, who by the way are 11th and 12th, hello.
This could be a big Hail Mary for some points. It would be beautiful to see them do that. And also shout out to Esteban Ribeiro, who's been, consistent this whole time. It looks like he will sneak away with yet more points in the Velan Alpine team. 9th place would be a great result for him.
What won't be a great result is Chapman staying in P6, only gained half a second on the previous lap, as we see a live table there puts him 16 clear of Wexler with the fastest lap currently, with Sharp also winning. That puts her 17 behind, so still possible as things are.
And we're about to approach. Who will anybody? Is everybody safe? Looks like they're all gonna make it.
They are.
It looks
top 4 are fine.
They're all safe. Now, can Chapman deny a top 5 for Ana Oliveira? It's really far back. I don't know if he can pull it from there, but it would be
previous lap 1.5. He's 2 behind. He would need a monster lap here to do this.
As we see around, it's big battle for 9th place as here comes Vasquez to try and make a move. Oh, but Ribeiro gets a good exit. I think that might secure it for him. As there comes Woodford trying to make a move to the inside. Couldn't do it. As we approach with just a few corners left, it may have looked bleak and dire after Vexler's engine blew up, but Zoe Sharp was perfect on the strategy calls today, especially after the safety car. The title is still on for Zoe Sharp, who wins in Rio, and Nina Holtz will take second, and Saarinen is on the podium, guys. This is amazing. And
incredible.
And Chapman's going to pull within 1 second of Oliveira. Can't do it.
This battle for ninth is going to teeter out with Vasquez having made
Unless we could see a move for Ribeiro. Woodford on the line. Can't do it. Just at the end.
One car length as Velan score a 13th point through Ribeiro, and the surprise package in Chariot can't. But
well, yeah, that strategy was an interesting but still reasonably accurate one. They nearly got points, and Gonzalez got a lot of points after that. She was disappointing through most of the season, but 7th is a great run for her. As we see, it is, but still, the big story is we still have a 3-way fight entering Dubai. In large part due to a complete blunderbuss of a strategic miscommunication during the safety car. And there are some concerning questions, I think, once Chapman and Jeffrey Batchelor, the race engineer, have to ask once they have to hit the media in approximately 20 minutes' time. But oh man, this is the 4th win of the season for Zoe Sharp, and what a crucial win it is for her.
So yes, we will get confirmation in a second of scrutineering. Just getting some teams telemetry. Apparently the front four think they had about 15 to 20% left. So they were actually quite confident they could go to the end, given how long the safety car was. And I'm sure that played into their hands and against Chapman. I'm still baffled as to that double pit stop.
It was an awful move. I think they realized they wanted to put middles on, but they might have given them the wrong tire, which at that point it was just too late to do it again. So that's a real shame for them. But yeah, I mean, with how well the front four managed it, they could have kept going another 2 or 3 laps. That was great work on their part. As we check for race scrutineering to see, and the tech inspection is complete, no issues. Zoe Sharp wins in Rio, and the championship is still on. Nina Holtz will get another podium, first since, I can't remember when the last one was. I believe it was her first since Cape Town. A fantastic result for her, potentially validating her position at Stein with consistent. Apologies for that. It looks like our broadcast feed was cut off briefly due to some issues with the world feed, but we're back on for just at least a few more minutes here. After some interviews, Zoe Sharp, she's feeling more confident than she's ever felt after that mid-season slump. And yeah, look, I'm excited to see how the championship finale plays out in Dubai. But driver of the day, as I'm sure Ginger was going to mention, is Maria Gonzalez from 22nd on the grid to 7th with an amazing safety car strategy call to put her with 6 points for Skoda Van Dort, doing what Schmidt has done most of this season, and is going to get a really good haul of points that way.
Well, that's all said and done. One more chance. 3 drivers, 3 teams, even though Steinman have, I think, already won the
No, I think
Constructors.
the only team that's gone is Rossini now. Rossini have been eliminated, and it's Steinman versus Panther. Steinman versus Panther for the Constructors team. Panther have it's a long shot for Panther to be able to get it right, but they still have a chance. But still, Rossini still have something to fight for with Dieter Wexler. They are lucky that Chapman made a big miscommunication, so they've got to give it their all to fight for this title in Dubai. So 3 drivers, 2 teams, as we will wrap up this broadcast in Rio of what has been an exciting and chaotic race.
Yep, and as always, for the finale, we go from the rainy Brazil to the desert, Dubai. I'm
Thank you all.
Ismail.
I've been Johan. Thank you all for watching this Wolf Motorsports broadcast. Signing off.
Now cut.